Love is a choice. And if we always just go with our most basic instinct, we will not know a fullness of joy in this lifetime. Because we'll be living like an animal. And there is always a reason to be upset with anyone and everyone. And if you're looking for a reason to be offended, you'll definitely find one. On the other hand, if you look for the good, you'll find that too. Seek and ye shall find is a true principle that applies to anything you're looking for, good or bad. And some people are easily offended. Now you might think, but Beck, you're always saying to set a healthy boundary and to not let people mistreat you. And now you're saying to choose love and not get easily offended by people. So which is it? Well, it's both. Spoiler, it's always going to be both. Because here's the thing that a lot of codependents, including myself, have or used to have a difficult time understanding. And that is that boundaries and choosing kindness are not contradictory, they're complementary. Here's an example. I had a friend who was in a tumultuous relationship a while back, and she didn't like the person it was bringing out in her. She was allowing this relationship to turn her into someone who was mean-spirited and bitter and was basically stuck in an eye for an eye mindset with her partner at the time, who wasn't very nice to her. He wasn't very considerate of her needs. And at the time, we had this really amazing discussion one afternoon where she realized that just because he wasn't kind to her, that wasn't a good enough reason for her to stop being her true, kind, lovely self. Why was she letting him dictate who she showed up as? And why wasn't she setting healthy boundaries with this individual? She had to look at that. And in fact, staying kind and collected when he tried to bait her into a fight or some kind of conflict, it actually allowed her to stay calm enough to set healthy boundaries with this person. And she refused. She simply refused to continue participating in that toxic pattern with him. She wouldn't scream or call him names or blow up at him anymore because she realized that her anger and her bitterness, it was doing a really poor job of protecting her anyway. It wasn't working at all. And I've done this as well. I'm just as guilty. Like, I have in the past thought that if I got really loud and angry, that was an effective way to help the other party understand that how they were treating me was not okay. But again, it simply doesn't work. And I'm all about doing what actually works. All it really does is give their ego justification to defend itself from your attacks. And even if they're the one that started it, they're never going to see it that way. If you yell back, if you get defensive, they're just going to construe that as an attack and justification for them engaging in that behavior as well. Sometimes, in fact, most of the time, the very most effective, best way to get someone else to see how ridiculous their own behavior is by not engaging in it with them. Don't engage in that toxic argument with them where there's name calling and yelling. Because if they are in any kind of negative mindset, their ego is actually hoping you'll take the bait and jump in the arena and start throwing punches, because then that helps justify their ridiculous behavior. To be clear, I'm all for healthy discussion whenever possible, but you know exactly what I mean. No one and nothing ever got fixed or resolved by yelling and name calling. And we'll talk more about what does work tomorrow in tomorrow's episode and how to liberate yourself from this toxic cycle of ego engagement. But for today, our assignment, our intention is simply to not take the bait, not take our own ego's bait or anyone else's. There is so much power in presence and staying present and in control of your own heart and mind, no matter what's going on out there, staying in charge in here. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you. Appreciate you being here with me. I'm Beck Sato. I'll see you soon. Mwah.